Yo, welcome to another edition of Hey Yo with D. Shelton. I am the host of this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Del Rico Shelton. As always, we are sponsored by Rose Sweets LLC. That's Rose Sweets LLC for the best cake pops and cupcakes in the DMV area. You can reach them at row underscore sweets underscore LLC on Facebook and Instagram. You can also place your orders and contact them at rosesweetsllc at gmail.com. And also, you are hearing me courtesy of Riverside.fm. Once again, Riverside.fm. You can actually look them up and you can have your own podcast starting for guess what? Nothing. It starts you off as free as a bird, free as the wind, free of whatever metaphor you want to think about. How y'all doing? How y'all feel? How y'all living right now? Me, I'm living good. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since you heard this voice. I've been ripping and running, moving and shaking, all the other good stuff. As you can hear, I have a certain excitement in my voice. Shout out to Unique Hoops Basketball Academy down in Winchester. I was hanging out with them a couple of times. Congratulations on their 15-year anniversary as well. Um, Shout out to everybody else that knows me, loves me, supports me. And speaking of support, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button so you can get the latest additions and notifications to Hey Yo with D Shelton. Please also share the podcast. You can reach me on Hey Yo with D Shelton on TikTok and also on Instagram. But mostly, if you're looking for me on social media, I'm mostly on TikTok now. Um, what else I'm forgetting? I did say like, share, and subscribe. Please support your boy right here. The subscriber base is growing, and I did not think I would get to this point of the subscriber base. So please keep liking, sharing, subscribing. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. Now, as for the excitement in my voice, about a month ago, I was down in the dumps looking at the RNC, the Republican National Convention. And I said I was going to cover the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. And so far, I am loving everything I am seeing, everything I am hearing. There is a burst of energy, excitement, and the word of the day, joy. There is a lot of joyfulness that's happening right now. Um, for those that's under a rock, Kamala Harris is officially now the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, and Tim Walz or Coach Walz is the nominee for Vice President of these United States for the Democratic Party. For those that really listen to me and understand me, I am technically a Democrat. I said technically because my card says Democrat, but I have voted Republican in the past. It hasn't been past almost 20 plus years, but I have before. I said openly, I am more of a centrist. I'm fiscally conservative, but socially liberal, as I think honestly most people are. But let's get to the nuts and bolts of this. As of Monday in Chicago, of course, there was protests there. The biggest thing that when it comes to the protest of Palestine right now that I am seeing, and once again, I am big on TikTok. There's a lot of pro-Palestinian um, people, protesters that are pretty much, I'm not gonna say harassing, but are pretty much telling black people, black women in particular, don't vote for Kamala because she is a funder of genocide. Let me explain this to you all that's listening to that's pro-Palestinian and say that bullshit. She's the vice president of the United States. Okay. The VP is mainly a figurehead. Yes, the VP has duties, but they do not, and I repeat, do not enforce any policy. That would be the president of the United States, Joe Biden. And speaking of Joe, I'm gonna get into him in a little bit later. Pause. Um, Let me explain this. I keep saying this. It's the coin. The House of Representatives and the Senate vote on it pretty much. House of Representatives votes on the money. The Senate says okay, and then after all both branches of the legislative branch says okay, they send it to Joe Biden's desk or the President of the United States desk. He signs it and sends off. He can't. Joe Biden can't even really technically send any weapons or things without Congress's permission. It's a checks and balance things. Kamala has nothing to do with that. If you want to say, yeah, she was a senator basically 4 years ago, voting on stuff, sure. But here's my rebuttal to you all. All I see is you all going to Democratic rallies, Kamala Harris's rallies, anything that's dealing with Democrats. Why aren't you doing that with the Republican side? Donald Trump has pretty much already said that he wants Netanyahu to finish the job. He has quoted in saying this. He said openly he's going to give Netanyahu all the support he can to end the war quickly. But you on Kamala Harris is nuts. Why? She so openly says there should be a ceasefire. She's been saying this for months. Either you dumb, stupid, or you're plants to me. I've seen TikTok people that don't even go here, that don't even live in the United States of America. One girl in Greece, I'm not mentioning her name on TikTok. To me, you stupid. Another one is in England, and that's the one that also pisses me off to the utmost. You worried about United States and its foreign policy? Don't you got like? Aren't you avoiding like riots and stuff right now in the UK? Because heaven forbid, there's no racism in Great Britain. Yeah, and yeah, for those that follow me on TikTok and you know deal with TikTok, the political side of TikTok, whatever, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm not revealing her name either, so don't bombard her. The one in Greece, the female in Greece, she had the nerve to say black people are colonizers. How we colonize what we are, depending on the information, 13 to 14% of the population. How we colonizers? Make it make sense. Well, because you all are 30% of the military. 30%. Have you ever asked yourself why that is? Maybe because we traditionally live in the poorest regions of the United States, have the least resources to succeed. So, and also recruiters tend to come to lower income areas to get younger people. Even though, with parents' permission, you can sign at 17 years old, 18, you can go in the military, but they recruit kids starting like at 15 years old, coming to the schools and stuff. So it's a way out. Talk what you know. Wasn't Greece almost bankrupt or was bankrupt like between 10 and 20 years ago? And also, there's a history, not to get on the soapbox, of Arabs who actually technically started the slave trade. But we're not getting into that. It seems to me that for whatever damn reason, when black people decide to do something mostly as a collective, everybody want to get in our damn business. Everybody. What are black people doing? What are you doing? Can what are you doing? Can we get in? Can we listen to what you're saying? Can we hear what you're saying? No. No. Especially the black woman. Black woman has been the backbone of the Democratic Party for seems like forever. 93% of black women vote Democrat. I want to say 86% of black men vote Democrat. And I know what a lot of people say, well, that's kind of the lesser of two evils. Sure. But we know on the Republican side, they got nothing for us. Project 2025, remember? Yeah. If they had their way, a lot of people would be subjugated. What was that woman named? Laura Ingraham? That handsome woman? Knows what I said there? Shut up and dribble. That's what they want us to do. Yeah, we ain't doing that. This is we are not our great grandparents. We're not that. And we'll never be that again. You will have a fight on your hands. And for those that say, I'm not voting because of Kamala's record, let me explain something to you one more time. This supposedly 1,900 black men or people that she, you know, locked up for marijuana possession and minor drugs. It was 45. This is on the San Francisco DA website. 45. And it doesn't show the races of the people. You know, I would assume the majority of them are black, but 45 out of 1,900. She started programs to help rehab criminals, so it doesn't be on. So it's not on their record. For those that always say, "Well, she slept her way to the top," bullshit again. That's rumors. How about we say Melania slept her way to the top? Hmm? What about Nancy Reagan? There was rumors a long time ago that Nancy Reagan's a throat goat. You don't know what a throat goat is? Google that. I said what I said, and I'm not taking it back. So those that said that, that's bullshit. Let's see. Slept away to the top. She was elected as San Francisco District Attorney for not one, but 2 terms. She was elected as California's Attorney General, which by population is the biggest state in the United States, twice. She was elected as a U.S. Senator for the great state of California. She was elected along with Joe Biden as Vice President of the United States. So how she sleep her way to the top when she's elected? See, sleeping your way to the top is you getting promotions at your job or extra favors. You see how the spin is with all that bullshit? Oh, I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling real good today. I got time today. Okay. Now, as for the DNC, right? But before I get into the DNC, let me say this. I remember on a podcast I said, "Real Republicans, where you at?" Um, the real Republicans all of a sudden are showing up. I've said this on TikTok too. Once again, hey yo with D Sheldon, look me up on TikTok. Um, I said that on TikTok, and real Republicans all of a sudden are coming out saying we're not voting for Donald Trump. We're not. Let's see. You want me to prove it? I sure as hell will. The mayor of Mesa, Arizona, John Giles, said he will choose country over party, like John McCain. He's voting for Kamala Harris. Okay. Let me see. Former Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Georgia, Geoff Duncan, says he's going to vote for Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump. And here's a big one on the low key. Conservative federal judge J. Michael Luttig, who's really not a household name, but he's big in the conservative legal circles. He's a retired judge. He told Politico, "Yeah, old man, I'm voting for Kamala." And more are coming out. Anna Navarro, who you've seen on The View. I know y'all think that she's Democrat. She is not. She is actually a registered Republican. So others are coming out little by little. Or I could say not even little by little. I'm about to say in droves. So what you gonna do, Macro? Because truthfully speaking, Donald Trump has not grown his base at all. It's the same. And matter of fact, his base has taken a hit because if certain stats have shown that 20.2 million baby boomers have died since 2016 when Donald Trump was in office. So his base has not grown really. Now I understand that everybody was excited for Joe Biden and stuff like that, even though he was doing truly a great job in that debate. Even though it looked horrible, people forgot when Joe was on. What was he saying? And Donald Trump lied like crazy, over and over and over again, just like he normally does. The media didn't focus on that. They focused on Joe. They focused on Joe. They focused on Joe. Joe looks old. Joe looks he does look like he can do the job. So after a while, he said, "You know what? I'm gonna step down." I think Joe planned this all along. People tend to forget that when he got in office, or just before he got in office, he said he was going to be a transitional president. Everybody forgets that. Even though he said he was running for re-election, at a certain point, I think Joe realized, "Hey, man, everybody wants me to step down, so I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna set up Kamala. She's ready." And boy, was she ready. Is she ready? I'm ready to say she's going to be our president elect come November. Young people are voting, have registered to vote. Let's see. We have black women for Harris, black men for Harris, white men for Harris, LGBT, well, the alphabet community. I'm sorry, I can never say it correctly, so I apologize. The alphabet community for Harris, Native Americans for Harris, Asian Americans for Harris. You see where I'm going with this? And they are raising money left and right. So the big scale donors that usually control both parties when it comes to lobbies and shit like they like, what the fuck is going on? Before you know it, Kamala Harris had over $300 million in the bank. And it was like in 2 weeks. Maybe that I'm just saying in 2 weeks. Really, it took maybe 10 days. All of a sudden, she had $300 million in the bank. Seniors, what was it, the villages, who voted heavily for Donald Trump in 2016, they have all of a sudden switched their tune. They're like, you know what? This motherfucker crazy. So they doing the grassroots movement and getting people to vote for Kamala Harris. See, this whole momentum thing is two things that I've noticed. One, everybody's sick of Donald Trump. It's me, 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 whine, 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 me, 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 me. You know what I'm saying? Whining, grievances all the way around. Have y'all ever heard Donald Trump over this course of this presidential campaign speak anything on policy? Let's see. His biggest thing was the migration crisis, right? So there's a bipartisan bill that a conservative senator started that was agreed upon. He called his cronies in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Bill gets shut down. So Joe Biden had to do executive orders, and all of a sudden, with those executive orders, the migration crisis, and if you listen to me, I'm doing air quotes, have subsided substantially to the point that was it Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas? Yeah, that busing bullshit he was doing. Yeah, he can't do that right now. He doesn't have hardly anybody to bus. Oops. Oh, we gotta talk about the groceries are too high. Inflation is under 3% now. As a matter of fact, the United States of America has the best inflation in the world. Now, I've always said this, and this I'm gonna speak on this economy 101. Here's inflation in a nutshell. Corporations raise their price, but your pay does not go up. That's technically inflation. Once again, we had a pandemic 4 years ago. You don't think the corporation were going to try and get their money back? You didn't think that? Whenever you know a corporation, we're just going to let the regular person know. No, 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 no. Have y'all noticed that gas has gone down all of a sudden? Huh? What else Donald Trump was saying? Oh, the hostages that was in Russia. He thought his best friend Putin, Vladimir Putin was going to help him out. Hold on to the election was over. Now Putin said, you know what? Fuck this. I see what's about to happen. I'm probably not gonna get this deal. So Kamala Harris and Joe Biden negotiated and got, you know, Russian um, prisoners back home to the United States and other countries as exchange. So what you got there, Donald? Now, it's alleged that Donald Trump has contacted Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, saying, don't do the ceasefire. It's going to hurt me politically. If I remember correctly, that might be in the breach of the Logan Act. Don't know what that is, look that up. Pretty much no American citizen, private American citizen, has the right to negotiate with a foreign power or prime minister on behalf of the United States. So he might be in breach of that. Oh, there's a lot more shit. And as for Donald Trump, he don't know what the fuck to do. He's tried the nicknames, ain't work. He's trying all this other stuff like I just said, it's not sticking. All of a sudden, she turned black. She's always been black. And for those that are dumb enough to believe this shit, that she ain't black, her daddy is Jamaican. Her mama is South Indian. You know what Jamaica is, majority of us? Black. She was born in Oakland. She pledged a sorority. She went to Howard University. Hell, she worked at McDonald's at Howard University. She was her mama and dad rented stuff. They were middle class. They had no silver spoon in their mouth, unlike Donald Trump, who inherited like $341 million from his daddy. From his damn daddy. Speaking of daddies, there's a question I'm tired of conservatives saying. And for my people, I said it on TikTok. For my people, let's be real. If some conservatives have asked you being smart alecky, what's a woman? Because this damn question so asinine to me. What's a woman? Tell him your daddy because he raised a bitch. That shuts him up. What's a woman? You're your daddy. Shit. I mean, to be honest, there's a jingle that's been on TikTok and others. Republicans are fucking dumb. I think MAGA is dumb. I think real Republicans who know policy are pretty damn smart. They see real Republicans, they see bullshit. Liz Cheney, real Republican. Mitt Romney, real Republican. Senator McClain, real Republican. There's others coming out. But you got these dimwits they're so far up Donald Trump's ass. And here's another thing I want y'all to start doing. As a conservative, what policy has Donald Trump ever done that actually helped the American people long term? Remember, he said he was supposed to do an infrastructure bill, right? Did that happen? Mexico's going to, we're going to build the wall. Mexico going to pay for it. Did that happen? Manufacturing jobs. We're going to say the auto industry. No, that was already done by Obama. Everything he promised, he didn't deliver shit. But somehow his kids got like, I want to say $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump's running to stay out of fucking jail. Party of law and order. But they got a dude that is allegedly a rapist, definitely a con man, and a fraud. 34 counts of it to be exact. Felonies. He can't even go across the border to Canada or Mexico. Y'all know that shit? By him being a felon. So how he's going to talk? He going to do a Zoom call? He can't go to UK. What, you going to do a Zoom call? Come on, man. What we doing here? I think a lot of y'all Republicans are going to vote Republican because it's like rooting for your favorite football or basketball team. We're going to own the liberals. You sure about that? That's why Georgia is trying to do some sneaky shit to have counties pretty much say, try to do recounts and shit and try to invalidate ballots. Texas, I believe, is doing the same shit. You know why? Because Georgia's officially purple now. Texas is close to purple because of DeSantis' dumb decisions that he made. Florida's going to be purple soon. If those three quote unquote southern states go blue, you will not get them back. All because you hitched your wagon for almost a decade to a narcissist, sociopathic liar who wants to be a dictator. The reason why a lot of these Republican Congress people are on Donald Trump's nuts so hard because they know without the MAGA vote they're gonna lose. Speaking of MAGA vote, Ted Cruz, how you doing in your reelection? I pretty much know from reports you struggling to get that money for campaigning. Yeah, the brothers coming for your ass. Pause. Hey, what's the dude Josh Howe said in Missouri? The one that put his hands up and then ran like a bitch during you know January 6th. How you doing in your race? You tried that bullshit running up a main man. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. In the Missouri State Fair. Only cowards do that to try to do a debate right there. Now you got 5 of them. You're gonna get eaten alive. See, there's a paradigm shift that's happening, ladies and gentlemen. There's a paradigm shift. If you follow the Bible or anything of that nature, how is the thing said, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Everything's changing. There's a paradigm shift. Spirituality involved, karma involved, if you want to get to whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't it be ironic that Donald Trump loses to a black woman who's his arch nemesis? I said this on TikTok. I got a theory. And I think this is why Donald Trump has a hard time with black women. I think Donald Trump, when he was in middle school or high school, had a crush on a black girl. And I think he tried told his daddy, and his dad's like, leave them alone, son. They're no good, blah, 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 blah. And she probably, after a certain point, she probably curbed him. You know, small hands and all. And he's been bitter ever damn since. Because remember, when he did that, quote unquote, I'm doing the air quotes again for those that are just listening to me instead of seeing me. With Elon Musk, he was saying Kamala's attractive. They did the Time magazine cover, and it was artistic, and it was a drawing, and she looked like Melania, and she's very very attractive woman. Blah blah blah. He at this point he don't know whether to fight her or fuck her. Knowing Donald Trump, you'll lose both ways. Cause she ain't giving you shit, and she'll probably knock your ass out. The Lincoln Project with Donald Trump. He sent them a cease and desist order. One of the head honchos of the Lincoln Project said pretty much, Donald Trump, you a whiny little bitch. Go ahead and try and sue us if you want. We got more dirt on you than you think. You see the tide is turning. Some even MAGA, some people I think are waking up little by little. I see it on TikTok. I don't know if it's them trying to get the likes and the views or it's legit. But some of them are seeing the light. Some of them like, yeah, this was a cult, man. It's a cult of personality. I'll say this openly to people. I think MAGA has a personality disorder. That their lives are so shit that it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. And this dude comes along and speaks their language. And they've been following them ever since. Because the Republican Party hasn't given them shit. Hasn't gave them absolutely nothing for like 40 years. Even Ronald Reagan truly didn't give them shit. I said openly, Ronald Reagan is the cause of all this bullshit when it comes to money, trickle down economics. Go ahead and look at the salaries of CEO and the worker, the ordinary worker. I mean, the CEO made more, but it wasn't like hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars more. But well, trickle down economics, yeah, that was Ronald Reagan's doing. So you once again, you're welcome, conservatives, MAGA. Oh, I'm feeling good. You know what made me feel good? Night one of the DNC. Here were some of the speakers. Um, Let me go here. UAW president, union, by the way, Sean Fan spoke. He called Donald Trump a scab. He spoke. AOC, she spoke. Fiery. Um, Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, fiery speech. Illinois Representative Lauren Underwood, fiery speech. Robert Garcia, it was a cool speech. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we had a Jesse Jackson sighting too. Auntie Maxine spoke. Maxine Waters, if you don't know. Golden State head coach and U.S. national basketball coach Steve Kerr spoke. His speech was excellent. And he said, come November 5th, we can tell Donald Trump night to steal something from Steph Curry. Right? Now, my favorite speeches, there was others. You know what I mean? There was others. Hillary Clinton spoke. And if she would have did this damn speech back in 2015, more people may have came out to vote for her. It was to the point that when she was speaking, the audience started selling, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. That sounds familiar, don't it, Donald? My hand has the tables a turn on that. I was like, damn, Hillary. I ain't know you had it in you. You know what I mean? Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock. Oh my God. The pastor was preaching. If anybody, I'm not even going to play none of this speech because, copyright infringement stuff. But you can go on YouTube and see this man whole speech. And you're going to be like, if you don't get fired up, not just for voting, just for in general, just period. It's like, damn. Now, the man of the hour on Monday night was Joe Biden, as I lovingly call him, Uncle Joe. He spoke for about an hour, and before he even spoke, he had a standing ovation for about 5 minutes. It takes a man, an elder, a great person to step down and let the next generation handle their business. That's what it's supposed to be like, baby boomers. I'm not going to say all, but there's a good portion of you that y'all just so damn selfish. You are the most selfish generation that there has been. Because you all refuse to get out the way and let the youth handle this. And there's another reason that's why y'all can't handle this, because now it's Gen X time now. The policies and stuff, everything that's coming out, all this is all Gen X. The shots at Donald Trump, all this is Gen X, because everybody's throwing shots at Donald Trump now. This ain't before. Well, Democrats say, oh, we're just going to take it. Well, we're doing this. No. They're loud. They're telling you what they did, and they're telling you prove otherwise that we didn't. But Uncle Joe, all I can say is thank you, sir. Your 4 years have been the best 4 years of any president. I've been on this earth 49 years. And your job that you did in 4 years, Your legacy has been cemented, especially since you've been in Congress and helped the American people for almost 50 years, sir. You have gotten us out of a pandemic. You have handled the migration crisis, even though Republicans, because of Congress and Republicans, didn't want to do shit. You got us out of a recession, and you got us to, in a sense, believe in the American dream again. We thank you, sir. Kamala Harris thanks you because you gave her the baton to finish the job. It's well deserved. His legacy is cemented. His 4 years that he's done is better than Bush Volume 2's 8, Bush Volume 1's 4. I'll say Ronald Reagan's 8 because he started this bullshit. And Lord knows he superseded Donald Trump for 4 years. And speaking of Donald Trump on this one too, you know why Donald Trump is so upset? Truthfully speaking, he's upset because he can't face Joe Biden. His team had, you was a drop out there. So when he did, you ain't know what to do. You and your constituents didn't know what to do. You wanted to beat Joe Biden so you could say, see, I told y'all 4 years ago I was robbed. No, you weren't. 7 million people voted. 7 million people more voted for Joe Biden. The electoral college said Joe Biden. The popular vote said Joe Biden. And let's be real. You wouldn't have won against Hillary if Detroit didn't have 75,000 votes taken away for bullshit. You won Michigan by 10,000 votes. So Hillary should have been president of the United States. Shenanigans. It's always shenanigans with your party to get y'all in office in the highest land. I think y'all, like I said, you only won the popular vote once in like 30 years. The electoral college saves y'all ass. That's why you want the South and the Bible Belt to be dumb. That's why you want them. That's why you want the Department of Education to be gone, so the states can do whatever they want to do to make kids dumb. I mean, y'all disgust me with that. And here's a nugget for y'all. I'm trying to make the podcast shorter, but I'm like I said, I'm feeling too good right now. Um, Here's the reason why they want actually the Department of Education to go. Have you ever noticed when a kid goes to college, he becomes liberal? You know why? Because he has other experiences. He get to talk to other people. If besides a little small town country bubble, whatever it is. Let's just call him Mark. Mark is in Arkansas. He goes to a public university. He meets Tiffany from Beverly Hills. He meets Malik from Brooklyn. He meets Maria from Miami. He meets John from Chicago. He meets Nia from Memphis. All different styles of backgrounds, right? He meets Tyvon from Austin. He meets Jaquan from Las Vegas. And they're all cool with him. And he is cool with them. They become his friends. Different experiences. And he gets to discuss these experiences with his newfound friends. All of a sudden, damn, the world is bigger than Little Rock, Arkansas. Then he becomes liberal because he sees different people, different backgrounds, different religions, all going to the same cause and want the same thing that he does. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Nah, not for conservatives. My way of life, no one stops you, boy or girl. No one stops y'all. You stopping everybody else because you want everybody to live your way. But I digress. Night two, though, right? Fiery speeches. But I stayed up for two reasons, to be perfectly honest. Michelle and Barack Obama. You remember when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high? Yeah, Michelle Obama now 2024 said, fuck that. Oh, she went straight at Donald Trump. The racism, the misogyny, all that shit. She even said, Donald Trump is applying for, looks like one of those black jobs. Ouch. Barack Obama, you know, did his normal beautiful thing, but he said he's another shot at Donald Trump. He has a weird obsession for crowd sizes, and he moved his hands like Donald Trump, and then looked down at his hands and say, "You see what I just did?" Speaking of which, Donald, how you gonna have your January 6 people or whatever had a larger crowd than Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech? You full of shit, dude. You want to be the man so bad. No. Let's go around. You about to lose to a black woman. I'm calling it. Energy's in the air. Kamala Harris will be the 47th president of the United States. Lord knows you got a dummy as J.D. Vance as your running mate. I've never seen a candidate have a negative rating. I didn't know that was possible. Your crowd sizes are getting smaller. And it's the same thing. Me, me, me. They want to lock me up. Me, me, me. You haven't heard not one damn thing about policy yet, have you? Hey MAGA, have you really heard anything about policy? Never mind, y'all don't care. This man could piss on y'all and y'all will say it's rain. Real Republicans, have you heard anything about policy? What can he run on? The only thing he had was Joe's old. But you're dealing with a 78-year-old narcissistic sociopathic liar who's losing his cognitive abilities, who slurs, forgets names, also shit. Same shit y'all was doing to Joe. Speaking of which, have y'all noticed that Joe Biden ever since he lost the debate, supposedly, or had the debate, he looks pretty damn spry every time you see him, except when he caught COVID. He looks pretty damn spry and alert, don't he? Makes you wonder. I told you, I think he set it up. Speaking of setups, has anybody checked on Donald Trump's ear? Like I said, I spoke to several different people. Your ear is supposed to be half off. Where's this so-called telemarketer that may have gotten hit and glass hit him? I'm not saying conspiracy theories, but I'm saying it makes you think. It makes you think, especially with that photo. Let me get my shoe. Oh, speaking of one other thing before I get up out of here. Night two, right? As I'm recording this, is before night three, which Tim Walz, Pete Buttigieg, Nancy Pelosi, and I forgot someone else supposed to speak tonight. I really want to hear from Pete and Tim Walz. I really don't want to hear from Nancy because I see why you didn't want Kamala, Nancy, because she wrote out her economic plan of $3 million homes to be built or rentals. That's her goal for the middle class, affordable. I don't think your lobbyists are like that too much, and possibly giving first time home owners $25,000 for the down payment. I don't think your lobbyists and cronies like that too much. So I think I see why you didn't want her at first, but now you had to get on board because once again Joe set that up. It's always the old person that sees the big picture that gives the most love because he's given his grandkids, kids, great grandkids, just the youth, a legacy to and a blueprint to follow with a new school twist. Thank you, Joe. But like I said, before I get up out of here, night two, Kamala wasn't even there. Her or Tim was. They weren't even there. They were holding a rally in Milwaukee. The same rally that the RNC had a month ago was packed to the gills with super energy. So they packed out Chicago and Milwaukee on the same day. Well, Donald Trump is barely getting half stadiums. JD Vance has to speak outside. It looks like an auditorium. Told you the tables are turning. Tables are turning big time. And he can't stand it. I was speaking to Donald Trump, that is. He can't stand it. Speaking of the RNC, did y'all notice the difference between the RNC and the DNC? The RNC was doom and gloom. Had Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock, and a couple other people, Amber Rose, ass, and all sorts of shit. Whereas the DNC is like a party. I mean, it's a straight up party. Little John came down when they did the roll call. And Little John came down for Georgia. Oh my God! And they got a DJ to do the states on the roll call, and everybody's excited. It's not the state of Georgia with its such and such electoral college votes. We nominate Donald Trump. Georgia's DNC. Hey, the Georgia with its electoral college votes. Vote for Kamala Harris is a party. It's excitement. It's joyful. The RNC was potato salad without the paprika with raisins in it. Where the DNC has got the potato salad, the baked beans, the brisket, the collard greens, string beans, the barbecue chicken, plain chicken for some people that don't like the barbecue, got the ribs happening, the music playing. You know what I'm saying? They got dominoes, cornhole. If you like that type of thing, it's a party. It's energy. Again, even with it's Gen X now. It's our time. Millennials, y'all next. Y'all got y'all thing happening. You part of it. Gen Z, the youth, you know what I'm saying? They coming in. It's a party. And us Gen Xers, you notice that every time there's something trying to stick with Donald Trump, they throwing something back at him with a pot shot. Like I said, on TikTok, I call Donald Trump Doo Doo Don because of his diapers. But have you noticed that Michelle Obama throwing shots like she did yesterday? Barack Obama, Tim Walz. The only person that really ain't throw a shot yet is Kamala, but she don't throw little solo jabs. Everybody's throwing shots at Donald Trump. And Fox News and everybody can't handle it. This is Gen X, baby. Fuck your feelings. Here's the fact of the situation. Fuck your damn feelings. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I can't wait to see Tim Walz speak. And on Thursday, it will be Vice President, soon to be President-elect Kamala Harris speaking. So I'm going to sip on my water. I'm going to get some iced coffee ready because this is going to be a good night. And tomorrow's going to be even better. And for all my sports people, yeah, I haven't talked sports in a while. This is just more important. It's more important right now. Yes, I saw Steph, and I was with Chris Rohn and Unique Hoops during the gold medal game. We was cheering and saying night night and everything. But right now, this right here, this is our lives. And I'm not gonna say at stake, but this is our livelihood at stake. So politics and this shit right now that's happening is way more important. Way more important. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. Like I said, vote blue, not just for the presidential race. Vote blue down ballot so we can so the Democrats can control the House and the Senate. So Kamala Harris, when she gets elected, can handle the business that is supposed to be happening for the American people. Those real Republicans, that's like I said on TikTok, vote blue for 2 cycles to see if your life don't change. If it don't change, then I mean, my bad. But I bet you it will, because shit will get done. The infrastructure bill, for example, that's been happening right now. Have y'all noticed everywhere in every state something's being built, roads getting fixed? Thank you, Joe Biden. I mean, I just want to throw that nugget out there. But I'm getting up out of here, like I said. I'll say it about 4 times. As I normally say for you all, may Father and ancestors. Oh, well, one more thing. Please, like I said, like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo with D Shelton on iHeart, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Also, you can find me on TikTok. Hey Yo D Shelton. Um, on TikTok, a lot of my social media content is there. Also, you can find me on Instagram. Hey Yo D Shelton. And once again, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Rose Sweets LLC. That's Rose Sweets LLC, the best cake pops and cupcakes in the DMV area. You can find them at rosesweets at gmail.com. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook at roll underscore sweets underscore LLC. All right. But as I tell y'all all the time, may Father and the ancestors take care of you, your loved ones, and anybody else that you care about. I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.